Akwaaba, 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 Akwaaba. Welcome, my people. Africa is calling. Welcome, my people. Ghana is calling. Akwaaba, Akwaaba. Tamale is calling. Akwaaba, Akwaaba. Volta is calling. Akwaaba, Akwaaba.
We give thanks to life, health and strength. We give thanks to the giver of life, the keeper of life. We give thanks to King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the Black Secretary General, the Black mighty life giver in flesh and blood. We give thanks to all good things that are sent from Zion above. We give thanks to Rastafari for his continual love and blessing towards us as a people. Well, it's been a wonderful moment right here in the land, in the continent. You know, here in Ghana, actually Accra. It's been an experience, been a love, been a prosperity, knowledgeable, you know, friendly. Yeah. It's been everything, you know. Now the question is, what are we going to do? Are you going to stay? What's the future plan? Well, the future plan for every black man and black woman should be. I shouldn't say the future plan for every black man and black woman. Because not every black man and black woman have a future plan to want to be or love to be in the continent, you know. Many people have other ideas. Them have other ideas. They don't see themselves like that, being in the continent, you know. Some people look on it hard, you know. If you're coming with a family, you have to plan. If you're coming by yourself, a different meditation. You know, coming in a family, you know you have a responsibility. If you don't have a wife that supports you, it's a tough thing, that's a risky thing that you will do to yourself. If you have a soulmate or a partner, and the person must necessarily be a wife, and they have a vision also with you, they share the same vision with you, then you will automatically move on from succession to succession. That's definitely what will happen. If not, you have another struggle again on your hand. See? So that's how it really is. If you're a man to come by yourself, yeah, not a woman by herself. You know, woman will come by themselves still. However, you have to know your mission. A man on himself is like, he's a Christ. You're going to prepare a place that where you are, they could come also. So you realize you have to shape your own destiny. You have to create the heaven which you desire for yourself and your family. Now I'm not speaking about Ghana alone. Now you have the entire continent. There are many free states in the continent. Right? But I'm not speaking of Ghana. Ghana needs development, and Ghana is being developed. And when we say development, sometimes people might think it's about just infrastructures. You know, it's development of oneself and who they are, owning the resources of the land, That's what I speak about when I say development. I am not going to pretend like I haven't seen it where people need genuine help. And the determination of the people is what is a beautiful thing. The most beautiful thing is the determination of the people. The people don't sit down. If you see some people sit down, well, they probably get westernized. As the Western world is a place where I go and see all of these people that are on the street begging. And afraid to create a job or create a work. Over here, the people are determined to make sure that they have something going, putting the food on their table for their family. Many people here you see in Ghana that are hustling also, what you call hustling in Jamaica, hustling, are working, you see they work in the street. All those in the market, the kaya, that those are the women that have the basket on their heads. Not the basket, but the pan, the big pans on their head, carrying your goods as you go along. Many of them are even from Ivory Coast, as a sister had told me. So they leave from far. So that's African people. Right? They leave from far, come in the market and do these things because there's a lot of people always shopping, a lot of people always buying, a lot of transportation always moving. As you see them on the streets, in the in the stoplights, when the vehicle stops, they have big bags of water on their head. They have juices on their head. They have food on their head. And they see a little glass case they might have on their head, and they're walking around with it. And it reminds me so much of when I was a little youth. And I used to be with my grandmother, because I lived with my grandmother from the age of 1 year and 6 months, until up to the year of 7 years before I went to live with my father. No, my mother never died. However, my father decided that my grandmother should raise me. So I remember seeing the people in the country, and they had a basket on their head, and they, with the market things, they load people coming from the country and coming from out of the garden, big bunch of banana on their head, water on their head, always. And you don't really see that no more. You rarely see that. If you see that, you might see the old people, some old people. I remember going to St. Lucia and see, some old people elder people in the country. They're doing that also. And you don't really see that often again. Over here, you see it. You see how the mothers have their baby on their side and their back in front of them, wrapped around. It gives you that. It gives you a warm feeling, a very, very warm feeling. Very warm feeling. You feel at home, you feel, if you're a person that is used to these things, or if you're a person that your heart is for these things, you will find a reconnecting, a unification, a reuniting. You'll find yourself blended in. Find yourself as a missing piece of a puzzle that is being put together with a part to play. Africa is really awaiting its creators. When Mosiah Garvey tell you that the first set of people to come in Africa are developers, the engineers, the teachers, the doctors, all of these people, to set Africa. Not the people that's going to bring the curriculum of the European world. Not the people that are going to bring the things that are destroying us as a people. As Emperor Haile Selassie I was giving a speech to some students that went to North America, Canada, USA. He said he doesn't want them to come home as American, because there are certain things that is only good in America, and there are certain things they learn in Canada is just for Canada. But what they want is to take from the education that they have acquired, the things that are necessary to move Africa forward to development. That's my summary of it, right? I don't quote the exact words as he's saying, so that's a summary of it. That's what he's really speaking about. So the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards also came and showed us that we cannot come into Africa or go into Africa with right wrong. Right? The right wrong is not necessary. The right wrong is not needed in Africa, because what you realize now, the Western world has played a part. The Western world makes it look like there's nothing in Africa and you must go to the Western world to make it. The Western world also teaches the people in the Western world that Africa does not need them, and then makes no sense for them to go to Africa. It's another way of thinking that they can take out every African people out of Africa, But you can't work. There's certain music in the Western world that is not needed in Africa. We see it in Africa. We hear it in Africa. You as a person that is talking about the liberation of Africa can look into yourself and see what these music have done to the society, have done to the Western world, the people, and realize that these music must not be in the continent. The right wrong must not be in the continent. It's either you're right or you're wrong. Artists on a whole in the Western world have not realized that they are leaders as yet. Many of them have no racial education, and so likewise a lot of leaders. For if you had a racial education and you had studied the history of Africa, as His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I teaches us to study the history of Ethiopia, study the history of Africa, because that is the only way you're going to move forward and know how you're going to move forward. Mosiah Garvey said, a people without a knowledge of their past is like a tree without roots. So you have no history of your past, you don't know nothing. So you have to realize that we were colonized in 1884, 1885 by 10 countries. More than 10 countries also, because when you check the Ottoman Empire, it's included as a 10 country. However, it consists of the Turks, the Greeks, the Arabs, the Armenians, all of these different people. Jews also, and other little religious organizations are found in it. So it's the Ottoman Empire. However, the other countries you have like the United States of America, Belgium, France, Italy, Germany, Russia, Netherlands, England, if I call England already, Spain, Portugal, all of these European countries, Canada, all of these countries, they came together and they formed the Berlin Pact from the 15th of November 1884 to the 26th of February 1886. The 26th of February 1886. So 1885, pardon me about that. 1884 to 1885, so it is the 26th of February 1885. Right? These countries have never left out of Africa. And Africans at home, Africans abroad must know that. Africans abroad must realize that although you got emancipation, although many of you get independence, you are not free. Because emancipation, yes, it's a proclamation. It is something that was announced. Because it's a proclamation. It made widely. It said you are free, but free how? Free to do what? Free from shackles? Free from chains? But what's a freedom? Because after that, it's just the apartheid system that has been rampant in the world. And even up to this day, it's subtle. It's not as open as it seems, because that's the same thing with slavery. is not open as it was. For example, you know that mango is on the market, so you know that everyone is getting mango, so the whole world is knowing that mango is the new thing. Just like how they had the moringa, and they say moringa, so everyone is knowing about moringa, and everybody wants to get in moringa. Everyone says, oh, it's vegan. Everyone wants to get in vegan, and everyone wants to capitalize upon this and capitalize upon that, and you know that's a big trade that is going on. Well, that was what was going on within the slave trade. Everyone know that benefits were out of it, and you know the English already, they blast it open. They were making all of it. So in this day and age now, it's not open. Slavery is not open, where you see people run into Africa and taking these people, loading them in docks, in the ships, and bringing them in the Western world or the four winds of earth. However, slavery now is happening. Like it's happening under the carpet. If you lift up the rug of the carpet, you'll see how dirty it is. Sometimes you see all kind of ants and moths and all kind of these things under the carpet. So the carpet is carrying a lot of things within it. So just as though emancipation is like a carpet, independence is like a carpet, but what's under the carpet? You are still covered down. Still have no freedom. After emancipation, you didn't get anything for all the work you've been doing. A man is a teacher for many years, or a nurse or a doctor for many years for the government. He has some pension to get, receive it yearly, whatever the agreement is. Black people have never received anything. Even the countries in Africa that they say they give independence. Stupidness, madness. There is nothing called independence when you give people independence and you still are the person, or is the person that give you a constitution. So they still see within themselves, as John Hawkins told Queen Elizabeth I, that in our countries we are barbarians and savages. So that's why they'll turn us into Christians, right? That's what he told her. Civilized Christians. Let's use exactly what he said. He turned us into civilized Christians. When she asked, what will he give us? Right, so the slavery today is in your mind, shackles and chains, because they have washed our mind completely of who we are. They break the young male and they break the young female. That's what they did. And after breaking the young male, after breaking the young female, they caused them to accept things that they didn't want to accept. The older ones, they'll kill off, and they continue to kill off the elder people. Your grandma, your father. However, the generation that is coming is receiving a new programming. Sometimes you look on just a computer chip that will stick in your finger, or stick in your hand, or stick in your brain, or something like that. So most of the time those things are for rebellious people, because the rebellious people needed another way, another method to keep them in line. However, the children, our children that are coming to this day, once we send them to their schools, once we give them to them, our colonizers, to be educated, what they'll be coming forward home with is the colonized mindset. So the slavery is in the mind of the people. They don't accept who they are. No, they are not Africans, they are Jamaicans, they are Trinidadians, they are St. Lucians, they are Bahamians, they are Antiguans, they are Surinamese, they are all these different identity or label or logo that they might be under. That's who they are. You can't tell them about going to Africa. What are they going to Africa for? They want to go to America. Wherein if they want an apple, if they're not in Florida or certain places, or they want some coconut water to drink. If they are not in Florida or certain places, they'll never see a coconut tree. If they want a coconut, they probably have to go in the supermarket where it's a coconut water that is heated already. They say to preserve it, put in bottles. So you have no nature for yourself, you have nothing for yourself. These places are freezers. You leave out of the tropics and you're going to the cold. In Jamaica and St. Lucia and these Caribbean countries, when you're building your houses, you're building them firmly. Still, the disaster that comes to you at times is the hurricane season. In the United States, it's all kind of disaster that comes. However, you live in matchboxes. You buy a house for 900 million, or not 900 million, must be Jamaican, 900,000 US, and you can do the maths and work it out for yourself, and you realize how much money that is in Trinidadian dollars, Antiguan, the Caribbean dollars, you know, Eastern Caribbean dollars, Jamaican currency. You find out how much money that is. And when you look at it, you live in a ply box house. Like when the hurricane come or whatever come, they just repair it for you and build a new one. I like disposables. With that kind of currency, you in the Caribbean would have built something strong. You probably would have built a big mansion knowing how Caribbean people are. You're going to Africa, you'll build something greater. Businesses, houses, real estate. And that's where you're running to, America and Canada. You live in apartment buildings, there's no more garden anymore. You can't even pluck a lime leaf, a leaf from a lime tree, and drink some tea. You have no Cersei, you have no Nina, right? You have no leaf of life. You have none of these things. You are living in a place that's a concrete jungle. Not to say in the Caribbean you don't make yourself into concrete jungles also. Because many of you in the Caribbean, you run and leave the country that your grandma was, and your grandfather was, where you could chop a banana, you could go on the tree and you could pick an apple. And you run go into the city, we have to buy all of these things. And many of you know that your country is just 1 hour drive. Because it's not like it's a giant place. Like you think you live in Ghana or Nigeria and all of these places, that to leave your village to go to another village is probably a 2 days journey if you're traveling by vehicle. Or sometimes a 8 hour journey. No. Sometimes it's just to catch a little bus and go there. And you even refuse to go to country to go and get your macambo or your sauce up and all of these things. No. You choose a city, you choose America, so we're not getting nothing. And you're there because you've been fooled of the dollar. The dollar that says if you gain this dollar, you have a lot in your currency. However, the place where you're living for many years knows how to take back the dollar from you. Knows how to prevent you from sending the dollar to your home where you was. And you work so hard in the cold. And still, as the Bible says, why buy that which is not bread. So therefore you spend your money on foolishness. You don't even have any African racial education with you, I should say. Racial education within you. You're just buying European things, you're buying Chinese things, you're buying Asian things, and there's nothing about it that is African. You see? Our garments. Africa needs the people that will come home with a mindset not to oppress the people, not to plunder the land. Because many people come in Africa and they still see themselves as tourists, jumping up, this, that, and they still come into Africa and still want to oppress the people. The same currency that they say they want to bring home to their Caribbean countries, and it's going to be a lot to them. They realize that the same currency is more in the continent. They realize that the same currency can give them much, much more than in the Caribbean also. The same currency, they realize that they can help their people a lot. They still refuse. They still, within their calculation, know how much cheaper it is to get the tropical fruits. The same fruit that they'll pay how many US dollars for is the same amount of US dollars that will give them a good abundance of that fruit. And still, they would still want to beat down the people's prices after they give them a decent price. Not to say the people won't hike up the prices now. And if you are not wise enough, they'll hike the price on you. But you're still moving like you're a tourist. Because your heart come as a tourist, but your heart never come as an African. So the price can be hiked up on you, jacked up. You know, like a hydraulic jack up, jack it up. Yes, so many people still come as that. People still think that they must throw money on the streets. That's backwardness. There was an incident that I saw wherein someone threw money out the window for the youths. And they were grabbing it. And then someone threw more money and they were taking more money. And I had to stop them and let them know that, listen, if you need to give them something, don't stay in the bus and give them. Go outside and meet your brother and sister face to face, looking them in the eyes. That's what I told them. Looking them in the eyes and give it to them. And speak to them. Say something to them. It's either you're going to take the money and you're going to say, you share it with you and divide it. It's either you're going to get the money and share it to them and say, just look at as how that sister is carrying that thing on her head and she's selling water or whatever. Think of a way that you could invest this little thing that I give you and turn over that investment and become greater in yourself. Speak to them. The person that you're speaking to, as I told them, might not be the one that takes the word, but the person that is listening, the bystander, because most of the time it's them that take the word. It's them that take the word. Because we were treated like monkeys. They bring us to Europe, they treat us like monkeys. They give us scrapsies. They throw scrapsies to us. Some people throw coins, a nickel, something that don't worth anything. Right? They throw it to us. So you cannot come here, come in the continent and behaving like you're a tourist. Because you've seen poverty also. Because Emperor Haile Selassie I was asked a question, how comes the people in Africa are poor? He says, Africa is rich. The people is poor because they do not utilize the resources. You know, the colonizers are in the land. The colonizers are in the continent. Still, they cannot outnumber the people of the continent. The ratio is far. The people need to own their resources. So you, as an African child of the soil coming into the continent, you're looking forward to give back to the continent, give forward to the continent. And you see the richness, and you see the poverty also. Now we know that wherever there is poverty, you know what can end up happening. Because there was an incident where there were some youths, you gave them some finance and you said the leader of the group and said to share. And he ran off and he didn't give two of the young sisters any, and the other child, the other youth man that was there, they run off by themselves. So likewise, you just have to be careful how you say you're giving or throwing money to people. When you see what's going on, it only puts you in yourself if you are an African, a person that sees the upliftment of Africa, to know that there's work to be done. So if you see yourself as a leader in the Western world, if you see yourself as a teacher, if you see yourself as an entrepreneur, a businessman, and you see racial sovereignty, race sovereignty, Africa needs you. Your continent needs you. Your continent deserves a soul like you. A soul like you is needed in the continent. Africa needs the kind of leadership to give us the freedom of Africa as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. Do not come into Africa with the right and wrong. As I said already, some music are not needed in Africa right now. And never needed in Africa. Some artists that I see there, and their only mission is to see people jump, and a lot of people jump. Africa don't need that. If you're not coming home as a leader in Africa to lead the people out of the colonial mess, it makes no sense. So we give thanks to life, and we give thanks to health, and we give thanks to strength. That's my brief word. Just my brief word. Give thanks to life. Bless the Lord.
One, two, three. Sacred woman Ghana. Clap for me and clap for Ivy Prosper.
Rastafari as a mission, freedom, redemption, repatriation to learn every man, woman, and children in their own vine and fig tree. Through Mosiah Garvey voice.
Blessed love, Rastafari, the mission, yes? It's all about self-mastery and mastering your thoughts and mastering
Africa for the Africans, and I bring in Christ to the nation. Well, Emmanuel,